because their immunization did not take place. We also see another one suffering from skin rashes. We see adults who are currently at the hospital because of various diseases and various sicknesses. So we ask ourselves, could we have prevented this? And even if we cure it, for instance, the person who has the skin rashes, even if it gets cured, are we going to have some still patches of, some patches still remaining on the skin? Or for those who are in the hospital, if they do get better, what would they have lost? Would they have lost time for working? Would they have lost various engagement sessions that they would have missed out? And for those suffering from polio, is it curable? And even if it is cured, are we still going to have some examples of, not properly getting out of this situation? Are we likely to could we have prevented this? Bottom line. On that, then we ask ourselves, I think the answer is clear to us. If we are supposed to choose between these two scenarios, it's clear that we would have preferred to have instituted preventive measures in order that we don't have to now cure it, which probably we may not be able to fully get out of those situations. So we ask ourselves, why should we prioritize prevention? Let's look at a scenario where you wake up, in the morning and you are seeing all over the news that your university system has been hacked. The media is reporting out there that sensitive information have really gotten out there. And this information could include your, salary information or your SNITs related numbers, your social security numbers, or that even your personal accounts have also been hacked. This is at an individual level. The first example was probably at an institutional level, but at a personal level, you wake up and realize your family members are sending you messages that you are not aware of because maybe your accounts have been hacked and they've received messages of you begging them to send them money very urgently, or exchange chats that you may have had privately with other individuals are all being posted out there. So it's a very embarrassing situation, and you wish you had prevented, such situation from happening in the first place. So we ask ourselves, why should we prioritize prevention instead of waiting for such scenarios to come up, and then we are now trying to intervene to cure it, so to say. And the first reason, there are various reasons. The first reason I would like to project here, which is not new to us, relates to the aspect of cost effectiveness. Because cybersecurity and accounts being hacked and various threats coming up and various cyber attacks come with such high cost to you as an individual financially, because it may take a lot of efforts for you to recover your data, the effort or the time loss, the system downtime, where you are unable to provide the necessary service to stakeholders as a higher education institution, and the potential legal liabilities in some instances where people can sue a university because they have released some information out there. It can really turn into a lot of legal battles. So it's really cost intensive, and we are saying that it's best to put various preventive measures, such as instituting strong passwords and others in place to ensure that we can reduce the cost of having to deal with such situations. I tried to find some statistics, current statistics related to the cost of cybercrime, and sometimes you find some official stats, others not so official, but I found some statistics from Astra that says that currently the amount earned by cyber criminals is about 1.5 trillion. So that's the amount that is going to these people. And there's been a $5.09 million loss, which is the highest cost of data breach in USA in 2023. So it's really expensive in terms of how much it would cost to an institution, how much it would cost to an individual as well. There's also some, past data. This was around 2021, which says that at that time it cost about 6 trillion USD a year. This is for the global cybercrime damage cost to institutions. And every month, at least 500 billion is lost via, cybercrime. And currently, I tried to check what the current statistics looks like, and it was around 10.5 trillion as well. So it's really increasing by the day. Then I tried to find some, published article. We are academics, so it's always best to look at it from the academic lenses as well. And this is a publication by the World Bank trying to review the economic cost of cyber incidents. And mainly this paper had reviewed over 50 academic papers, by leading scholars tackling issues on the economics of cybercrime. And it concludes that cybercrime has direct cost implication on individuals and on institutions. It also has indirect ones, including how it can actually affect global stock markets. Mainly, it also talks about the fact that there are all types of statistics out there, some from official sources, others from non-official sources. But the bottom line is that the cost of cybercrime to institutions, to individuals is really, really high. And therefore, they recommend that institutions put in place various preventive measures instead of waiting for it to happen and then we cure it. Aside the finance bit, it also very important for us to prevent such cyber crimes, put in place various measures, because then through that you will be minimizing the disruption to your activities, to your institutions, to your operations, and as well as your various revenue stream. So just to ensure that our business is teaching and learning, research, and then community engagement. So to ensure that our business runs as smoothly as should, we need to put in place various preventive measures. It also has a lot to do with protecting reputation. Reputation now is a huge currency that would have taken you so many years to build this, from when the institution was established, from really putting various measures in place to ensure that your institution, your university, is noted in the academic circles and in the academic community as, a top institution, one that is serious when it comes to research, one that has strong systems in place. And it would take just one cyber attack to try to mar that. It can really do a lot in terms of your attraction of university students to enroll in your programs, in terms of how attractive you are to faculty. Probably you are seeking to attract international faculty into your centers, into your institutions, and faculty from other universities as well. And then just hearing that these people have weak systems, and not recently they were in the news, and their staff salaries and things are all out there, can make your institution unattractive. So it takes a lot to build your reputation, but it can also take various forms of cyber attacks to try to bring that down. So we really need to do a lot to ensure that our institutional reputation is protected. It also has to do with compliance and enhanced security posture. In various countries, you need to be compliant to key structures that have been instituted in the country, and therefore a prevention-focused approach would allow the institution to identify and address the various vulnerabilities before they can be exploited. I think earlier we learned about these various vulnerabilities. We learned about the 0 days and the various aspects. So we really need to be sure that within the industry, within where we are working as an institution, we are seen as one that is security focused, one that is compliant with our local laws and regulations. So what are some of these preventive measures that we can put in place? I think this may have come up over and over within this course, but it's very important that we try to remind ourselves, we try to engage and to discuss. And most importantly, we try to implement the various things that have come up throughout this course. The first point relates to us implementing strong passwords. We've been told that definitely using your birthday, 1, 2, 3, and your name as the passwords are things that we should really move away from. We've been taught how to create strong passwords. We've been taught to prioritize two-factor authentication. So all these are key preventive measures that we need to even though we know, because we are not doing, we actually now have to start doing. The issue of regular software.
You have 3 minutes more, please.
The issue of regular, thank you. The issue of regular software update is one that we should as well prioritize at our institutions, and also actually buying the original softwares and not necessarily cracked versions. And we have to regularly update those software as well. Employee training, because we've heard over and over as well that humans are the weakest link in ensuring a cyber secure space. So we have to regularly train our staff, engage on various awareness interventions for our students as well, and the employees that we work with, administrative staff as well. Implementing firewalls and antivirus software would also help block malicious traffic. Access controls. We are told that you should only give people the access that they need to do their work. So limit it and not necessarily give them access to an overall system, which then gives them easy access to undertake unauthorized, things that they should not even be tampering with at all. And regular backups, just in case something happens, there should be a recovery to ensure business continuity. So the issue of regular backups is also very critical. Thank you very much. I think I noticed I had only 15 minutes and so tried to do the presentation to stay within that time. Thank you very much. I would end here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Felicia Nkrumah. That was a beautiful presentation and an insightful one. We'd like to welcome our second speaker, Dr. Oladejo. You have 15 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much, Ma. Good afternoon, Chairman and the Facilitator General and other participants. Welcome to this lecture. So I pick it up from where Dr. Felicia left. Yes, we need to prevent ourselves from being attacked when we are in the cyber world. But the truth here is this. The outline that I have for us is what we are classifying on the screen, but I want to jump quickly to my opening thoughts. In cybersecurity, it's going to happen. Just wait for it. It's about time. That attack is coming. The boys, the black hat guys are watching, and they are there steady. That is their job. So what we're talking about cybersecurity is not whether it will happen. It is when it happens, what do we do? So I captioned it as, okay, the mission is to prevent, but the vision is that real-time detection and effective incident response strategies. So what then do we do when all that Dr. Nkrumah has told us, when they all fail, what do we do? Those are the creative measures or actions that I'll be looking at as I move forward. How data breaches occur. If you look at newsletter number 10, the one that the case one today, I've said a few things about the black hat and how data breaches occur. So these guys are always on you, checking for what your vulnerabilities are, how they can get in. So that is the research part of it. Then once the windows are clear, okay, this is where we can log in. Just like we all did in some of our practicals, where we scanned some websites. But for us, because we are white guys or white hat experts, we are not looking to do that for the wrong reasons. We want to look at those weaknesses to help us build a stronger system. But these hackers are looking at those vulnerabilities to attack you. So once that is achieved, they stage the attack. Little by little, they penetrate, social engineering begins, phishing, vishing, and all the rest that we know. Once that succeeds, then execution takes place. Before you know it, you are there where the woman says you should not be. This is another anatomy of hacking. When hacking happens, or when cyber attack happens, what do we lose? Dr. Nkrumah has mentioned a few of it. Data loss, manipulation, data manipulation, reputational damage, financial loss, legal consequences, and lots more that we can measure. Some could even result to death, God forbid. What are the biggest cyber attacks that has happened in 2024? Each of these cost several dollars in millions that all of these companies, ran into. I provided the link here so that we can read about all of these attacks, see what happened, and perhaps we're able to learn one or two lessons from them. So these are the 10 biggest cyber attacks in 2024. We don't know what 2025 will look like, but we are watching. If preventive measures fail, what then do we do? Now you have done all the best that you can, strong passwords, two-factor authentication, but these guys are in. The first thing that needs to come to our mind, which is the corrective action one, is containment. What do we do under containment? We want to isolate compromised systems or units away from the complete sector. For example, let's say these guys get in through the school library. The first thing we want to do, the moment we are aware of that, is to cut the library from the school network. So I don't from the library get into other aspects or into other parts of the institution. So that isolation is number one. Switch to manual operation for the meantime. Disable emails or cloud system depending on the level of that attack. Then initiate the pre-planned network segmentation. And here is where I'm going to talk about our incident response plan. One very strong way to ensure that you are able to come back from any attack is that before the attack happens, you need to have planned for it. And it's not only when it happens, you start running a scatter. No. Before it happens, you need to see, in our institution, this is our disaster recovery strategy or disaster recovery plan. And everybody who is involved should be aware so that when it happens, you know where is the first point of call. Corrective action number two, once you do containment, the next thing to do is to assess what has happened and then do forensic investigation. Here you want to trace from where has this breach occurred. You want to investigate the origin, investigate the impact, and then entry point. To what extent, what has happened, what has been lost, what has been altered. Once you are aware of all of this, then you can engage the cybersecurity team within the institution or your external experts that you are already in connection with based on the plan that you have provided. Okay, once it happens, we are going to call social company, maybe Nkrumah cybersecurity company. Once you call them, then there's a problem, and then they have back-end access, and then they start helping us to fight whatever they want to fight. When we do this, whatever it is we get back of it or out of it can become some lessons for us to build a stronger system, some lessons for us to also consider where have we failed? Do we have some human error or what? So all of these are what the assessment and forensic investigation will do for us. That is the step two, or the corrective action number two after containment. Once we're able to trace this, then we initiate the step three, and that is communication and disclosure. But I must say here that depending on where the attack is coming from, sometimes the step two can become step three, and step three can become two. And I'll give the example. The step three says that you should notify internal stakeholders, office and legal units, and then the management. Alert users and customers, your partner, early, and then be honest. At this time, you do not need to communicate with panic. You need to relax and say what you know, say what you think you have done, and what you think you are expecting. But here is this. If, for example, if an attack gets to an ICT unit of a university, this step three is actually what will happen in step two, because the ICT unit is what any other part of the institution wants to call. So they want to quickly go into what has happened, analyze what has happened, and then inform the management, possibly inform the legal unit if that has to come in place, and then afterwards, then inform the general society, or the general university community if they must. But sometimes when you bring out this information again, it creates unnecessary panic. If you think it is not as heavy as doing so, then you don't want to. But where you need to avoid some litigation matters, then you have to. Corrective action number four. Yes, now we are contained, we have done segmentation, we have looked into what happened, we have affected our measures to see, okay, this is what and what has been lost, or this is what has not been lost, and then our management is informed. The next thing is restoration and recovery. Towards the end of Nkrumah's presentation, she mentioned that we need backup. Backup here is not just having, it is part of it, having some data in an hard drive, but sometimes it goes beyond that. About would always mention something around redundancy. As institutions, particularly, when we create backups, we need to have redundancy. Yes, we have backup all our data. Maybe you do that on weekly basis, 3 days, because that's irregular. You have done that in patch A. You need to have another patch where these backups are, so that if anything happens to patch A, you can always switch to patch B. Some persons will even employ the services of data center, where zero trust is enhanced or affected. And all of this is to be sure that when this attack happens, you are able to rely back on something. The worst that could happen is you lose 2 days, 3 days of information. That is not small, but at least it's better than losing years of information. Once you're able to restore, and assure that we are starting from a clean environment, then we need to change all our passwords, change login details where we are using thumbprints, then we even change personal access control. If you observe that the breach came in through some human error, then revoke access token that you have given to some individuals, change the password, and then patch vulnerabilities. When we do this, we'll be sure that we are restoring our softwares from an updated and safe store. We'll check for malwares in embedded system to be sure that we are good to go before we connect back into the main network. This is the restoration and recovery stage. It's like our safe haven. But to get here, we need to have planned for it in our disaster recovery plan. And that is very important. Even to us as individuals, we also need to have backups. We also need to have that recovery plan. If anything happens to my system A, my system B should be so active that I can switch on without having to lose any sensitive data or something too important to you. Once step 4 is done, the next thing to do is to go to step 5, which is corrective action number 5, post-incident review and policy updates. Oh, something went wrong, definitely. What went wrong? Yes, you are back online. You are now functional, but we need to assess. In the Yoruba parlance says, "Takbalagba shubu onipe o ma boju weyin, tomode ba shubu ma boju wawaju." So for us as institutions, we want to look at that. Okay, oh, where have we failed? What went wrong? How do we ensure that we are better when this is going to come next to us? Because it's going to come again. We just have to keep preparing and keep planning so that we are better built. We'll revise our incident response plan, train our staff again to become better, and then update our policies. We'll conduct tabletop drills. And by this, I mean, we need to, okay, yes, this has happened, but we need to keep doing ourselves to ensure that if it will happen again, we are going to provide some better responses than we did earlier. Once this is done, we'll be doing the training to ensure that we build resilience so that we are not falling victims and we're not easily attacked. As I close, I'll be leaving us with this. Cybersecurity is not about that perfect protection. We will do the best that we can to be protected. But when it happens, because it will happen, we need to be ready to be able to recover smartly and then build resilience from it. Corrective actions are not just tools. They're not just about ensuring that we're able to use our Wireshark, I mentioned in the newsletter, or the FTPs, or the zero-day trust, or the metasploitable softwares. No, it's also about the process. It's about the decision, and it's about the discipline. As individuals and institutions, we are encouraged to review our digital footprint from time to time, ensure that our backups are regular, and then run practice drills. We need to remember at all times that if we don't test our disaster recovery plan, then we don't have one. So as soon as when this happens, we have this in place on how to recover. We need to just occasionally initiate some attack and see whether
you have 2 more minutes. I think
whether we can actually do what I've said we'll do. In all, is that these are the summary steps of the corrective actions that we can take when disaster or when attack happens to us as individuals or as institution. I saved the best for the last. And the last is, thank you so much, Sababa, for everything that you are doing for us, for bringing us to this level. We couldn't have done this without you. God bless you always, sir. Thank you, one and all. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adekunle Oladejo. Thank you for that wonderful lecture. Sir, we're going to begin the plenary sessions. The plenary session is going to start now. If you have any questions, kindly raise up your electronic hands. And I'd like to state the rules again. Please make sure your video is switched on so that you can be called, and you have 1 minute to tell us your name, where you're, the institution you're from, and your question. So we're going to be taking it in batches of 5. So we have only 1 hand raised. If you have a question, kindly raise up your electronic hands. Then we can ask you to unmute. Facilitator General, sir.
No, you have to tell me those that I have to. You mentioned their names now. That I will.
Okay, sir.
Shetimi's name video is not on, so don't call him. He should know better than not
Okay,
to.
sir. Yeah. Okay, sir. Associate Professor Mohammed Ali Garba, Professor Mechiki Isaac Peter, Professor Jonathan Sesame. We have a participant with Tonya. She has not written her full name.
Yeah, don't call her then. Don't call her. We have told her several times to do so. So don't call her. Go ahead.
So we have Professor Mechiki Isaac Peter, Professor Jonathan Setsimi. Those are the hands that are raised for now.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Professor Mechiki.
No, Associate Professor. No. There's Associate Professor Mohammed Ali Garba is the first that you call. So.
Hello. Thank you very much. I just want to make a contribution to the two speakers. Number one, the prevention is better than cure. I just want to add some points. Security network, which is missing. Use encrypted networks and VPNs for safe remote access. Then monitoring and detection, which is again missing, continuously to monitor networks for unusual activity, to detect threats early. Then the last one is risk assessment. Regularly evaluating security risk and updating security measures. Contribution regarding the second presenter on curative action.
Yeah, I've actually muted you as a Professor Mohammed, and I was expecting that Professor Adetola Akanbiemu will apply the rules. He didn't tell us the institution he's from. He didn't tell us anything. So please, next person.
Thank you very
Professor
much.
Mechiki.
Thank you very much. My name
your
is
name
Mechiki.
and your institution.
Exactly.
My name is Mechiki Isaac Peter from Kaduna State College of Education, Gidanwaya. Mine is actually a contribution, and basically they said we should always expect the unexpected. I believe if we actually have that mindset, it means that we will always be proactive. It therefore means that when we're expecting the unexpected, just like the second speaker presented, it therefore means that we are going to put a lot of measures in order to prepare for the rainy day. So as a cybersecurity in training, I believe we have that mandate to always expect the unexpected, owing to the fact that there is no any network that is 100% secured. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Professor Jonathan Tetsimi.
Thank you very much, Madam. My name is Professor Jonathan Shetimi from Delta State University, Abraka. I want to really, mine is more of appreciation for the way this lecture has been crafted. First, prevention, and the other is if prevention fails, what do we do? This is very apt and very timely in this time because of the use of machine learning and AI in doing attacks that are very deadly, especially in the cyberspace. Thank you very much, VICBHE Management.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll be calling the next set of participants, Professor Gabriel Okafo, Professor Adewoyin Oluyinka, Professor Lajide Adejoke, Professor E.D. Paul, and Professor Johnson Ikere. Professor Gabriel Okafo, 1 minute, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Professor Gabriel Okafo from University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I strongly concur with the first presenter that cybersecurity prevention is better than cure because of the enormous risk and costs associated with trying to resolve the issue when they occur. But at the same time, looking at the global cost, the statistics, reaching up to trillions of dollars, I wonder why we are not too strong in this country, Nigeria, and this cybersecurity where both training and every other thing associated with being cyber security secure in most organizations. Because we may not be able to contain the cost if it eventually happens. So I commend the VICBHE, the Facilitator General and co for truly initiating this intellectual exercise in this area.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Professor Olajide Adejoke.
Thank you so much, ma. From what I've deduced,
your name and your institution,
look,
please.
No. Dr. Adetola Akanbiemu, don't bother again. Anybody who starts talking, I'll just mute the person. I'll go on to the next. I mean, we said this almost like 5 times today.
From the Lagos State University. I'm Olajide Adejoke from the Lagos State University, sir. Yes.
You have 1 minute, ma.
30 seconds more. 30 seconds more. Yeah.
Okay, ma. Thank you. From what I've deduced, sir, I've learned that cyber security as in cyber attack is inevitable. I just want to ask, sir, that is it possible for one to be prone to attack in the process of trying to save our institution? Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Professor E.D. Paul.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Professor Eloy David Paul from Ahmadu Bello University. I came in a little late for the first lecture, but I have one question for the speaker. And the question is, we talk about strong passwords and 2FA, two-factor authentication to keep our activities online strong. But I have one problem. I still have one problem. After changing my passwords from the weak 123 ABC passwords, I create strong and complex passwords that I eventually forget. So my question is, can you please suggest any way that I can remember my new complex passwords without having to write them down somewhere that somebody else can stumble on? Secondly, for the second speaker, for the second speaker, I want to know if it looks to me as if we need to actually have some company or somebody to refer to in place in terms of disaster management, in terms of response. Is it possible to just engage anybody who is
sorry, time is up. Next person, please. I've muted Professor Paul.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Professor Johnson Ekere.
Thank you very much. My name is Mr. Johnson Ekere from Wesley University, Ondo. My question looks more like what Professor Paul just mentioned, but my question goes directly to, since we know that education is one of the major sectors that are affected by cybersecurity issues, is there any body in Nigeria, my own case now, Nigeria, is there anybody that is saddled with the responsibility of responding to universities or higher institutions when they have issues? Because one of the speakers said, when you employ your team within and they are not able to catch up, contact a team outside there. Is there any standby team outside there that is saddled with the responsibility of responding to higher institutions?
All right, thank you, sir. All right.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll be picking the next set of 5 participants. Professor Mary Oliwe Edema, Professor Okon Udo, Professor Priscilla Uto, Professor Nnenna Nwobodun Zeribe, and Professor Blessing Ijiogu. Professor Mary Oliwe.
Our emeritus professor, good evening. My name is Mary Oliwe Edema. My question is, if
University,
look, I've muted that. Next person. Yeah, you did tell us.
Professor Okon Udo.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Okon Udo. I call from Madonna University in Nigeria. My question actually goes to the Facilitator General.
Yes, sir.
Please, can this Zoom meeting be recorded and then made available to us? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Professor Priscilla Uto.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Professor Priscilla Uto. from Benue State University, Makurdi. My question is to the first speaker, since the preventive measures that she said we should take on, one of them is training. How frequent do we carry out this training, knowing that humans are the most link through which this attack comes in? And in the institution where you have rotation of staff, even in health institution, in educational institution, we have rotation of staff. How frequent do we carry out this training to prevent this attack? Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Professor Nina Nwobodo. Professor
I don't
Nina.
think I can hear. I think she has a challenge with Professor Nina Nwobodo. I think you have some challenge with your audio because you are muted, yes, but we cannot hear you. Can we go on to the next and then come back to her later? Can we go to Professor Mary Olire-Dema if she's now able to tell us where she's from?
Okay, she's unmuted.
I'm sorry,
sir.
Professor. I am Professor Mary Olire-Dema from the Federal University of Petroleum Resources. I'm sorry. My question is, if I'm falling a victim of a phishing of my bank details, it says the first thing we do is to isolate. How do I isolate?
Thank you, ma.
Thank you, ma.
Okay, so sir, I will be taking the next set of Professor Olufemi Ogunrinde, Professor Glory Ben Chendo.
Can you hear me? I think Professor Nwobodo is active now, but we'll come back to you, ma'am. Come back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Professor Isaac Odeshola, Professor Taiwo Ubindo, Professor Evelyn Godwin Nwakwasi. I mentioned Professor Glory Ben Chendo. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Professor Olufemi Ogunrinde.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Professor Olufemi.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon, Assistant General and others.
Yes, sir.
All pictures observed. My name is Olufemi Ogunrinde from Amadi area. I just want to ask a very simple question. On my PC, my PC is continually being backed up anytime I work on it on OneDrive. I just want to know, is that an adequate step, and does it offer any protection at all against cyber attack? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you, sir. Professor Isaac Odeshola.
Thank you very much, ma. Professor Isaac Odeshola from University of Uyo. My gratitude first to the Facilitator General and the entire VICBHE team on this wonderful series. My question is directed to Dr. Oladejo. In one of his curative actions, he talked about the incident control. And in one of our lessons, we've also been taught about one of the activities of the Blue, which is incident management as well. How do we use the ethical procedures that we have been taught to initiate this incident management control? That is my question, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Professor Glory Ben Chendo.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, our emeritus professor. I am Glory Ben Chendo from FUTO. I just want to ask, we are asked to do a project for our school, cybersecurity policy for our school. And going by what the last professor asked, what is the place of ethical hackers, the white hackers, in preventing or preventing cyber attacks on the institution's facilities? Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Professor Taiwo Ubindo.
Thank you very much, madam. My name is Professor Taiwo Ubindo from University of Jos. I appreciate the presenters and to say that the presentations are quite apt and very instructive. My question goes to Dr. Oladejo. Presentation on what to do when the attack happens appears to be geared towards organizations. What happens to individuals when they are attacked? How do we contain? What do we contain? Who do we reach out to? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Professor
host, can we
Evelyn.
take Professor Nina Nwobodo Nzeribe and then get a response from our two keynote speakers? And then we can take another batch thereafter. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Professor Nina Nwobodo.
Okay, I'm Professor Nina Nwobodo Nzeribe from Enugu State University of Science and Technology. First of all, I want to thank Facilitator General. I've been a beneficiary of VICBHE from Module 1 to date.
Wow.
You have really transformed my life.
Thank God.
You are my it's a role model that I cannot see, but you are my mentor, I'm your mentee, please, anytime, any day. So my question based on cybersecurity is since we have artificial intelligence that can mimic human, intelligence, can't there be artificial intelligence, because this no cybersecurity is complete secure? As an AI model or IoT integrated model to always alert us to they are coming, so that to take privilege instead of allowing them to hit us before we begin to take control. Then secondly, I notice also too many platforms, too many passwords. Sometimes you forget. Sometimes I have to say forget password to go and recollect or change password to log in into the platform. Even in this week, it happens to me. So how do we make sure that in trying to get complex passwords that also remember? Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you.
Also, online. This was last session.
I thought you said we should have a response from our speakers. I think you want to call on them. But while that is being done, ma'am, I'd like to note what Professor Nina Nwobodo Nzeribe said. Thank you, ma'am, for attending. You're going to get a prize at the end of Module 10. All those fellows, all those participants who have been with us, come rain, come shine. Now, have you watched the video lesson 8, the one that was released yesterday? Have you watched it? Professor Nzeribe, have you watched it? Okay, you are muted. Okay, you have watched exactly. So I am so pleased with that question. We're responding to you now. Very pleased with that question. There's Ghost GPT. So the question you're asking, Ghost GPT is for the bad people. So is there no artificial intelligence thing that will counter it? That's the question you are asking. And so we're asking, VICBHE Management is asking Professor Nina Nwobodo Nzeribe to build our own anti-ghost GPT. Back to you, our host.
Okay, sir. We would like Dr. Felicia Nkrumah in 2 minutes, right? In 2 minutes, can you please respond to some of the questions? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So I will take some, and then Dr. Oladejo would pick maybe some of the ones that may not have come up yet. There was a question about the frequency of training, and I would say that training would have to be an ongoing activity, and we need to find various innovative ways of, making sure that our staff, our team members are trained. We can adopt various campaign mechanisms, whether it's, key flyers with messages that you'll be sending out to various groups, or whether it's a message you put under your email, something, a specific hint on cybersecurity that they should be looking out for. And whenever there are ongoing institutional trainings, can we look for 10-minute slots just to, speak about cybersecurity? And then possibly institutionally, we should also have specific times for those cybersecurity trainings as well. But let's be innovative and look for every opportunity to send a message out there. There was also a question about strong passwords and the two-factor authentications that we sometimes forget. I think under this same course, VICBHE Module 10, we've learned about password managers. So let's look out for password managers that we can use to help us manage our passwords in various ways. There was also a question that can we be prone to attack in the process of trying to secure our network? The point is that whether you try to secure it or not, you are prone to attack, as per Dr. Oladejo's presentation as well. So it's actually very important that you put in place measures and rather than decide not to do anything, because sometimes we think that if nothing has happened yet, then why should we even put in place any measures at all? There was also a question. Okay, maybe let me hand over to Dr. Oladejo to come in as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for that wonderful response. Okay, so I take it from the disaster recovery plan, who to engage. Yes, I'm not aware of anybody, national body that is ready to assist with when you attack or which you can call. But I do know that there are individual agents out there that offer these services. I am particularly aware that there is a center in Obafemi University, the Oak Park, that has the cybersecurity research lab. And there are experts there that you can engage if you want to develop a disaster recovery plan and then have one in place for yourself or for your company, as the case may be. And that also answers the issue of standby team or incident response. How do we isolate? If it's about bank details, and I think it's very simple here. And I'll give an example. One of my colleagues got hacked sometimes. The hacker first took, I think, 40,000 naira. After about 30 minutes, he took 100,000 naira again. After about 30 minutes, but he was asleep. He didn't know. So he was asleep. So before 2 hours, all the money had gone. If he was awake for the first 40,000 naira, he would know that I didn't initiate any money. On every app, there is that one point where you can always block, where you can always call the bank and then say something wrong is going on with my account before it gets escalated, and then before you know it, all the money, about 400-something thousand, went off within 2 hours. But they're also watching that, are you monitoring? If you are not, they go again. If you are not, they go again. So I think that can help. OneDrive is a backup. Yes, OneDrive is a backup, particularly if you are paying. For example, I am paying to Microsoft to use 1 terabyte OneDrive. That's the backup. If anything happens, or if I think there's anything suspicious, it's always that point on my profile where I can always call in for help. So to answer that like that, it is a form of backup. And not only that, we can also do some offline too. Baba tells us there's about 5 hard drives in every of his stations. So you can have 1 hard drive here, 1 hard drive at home, 1 in the office. So even when 1 drive fails you, your own normal hard drive will not fail you, and you can back them up regularly. You can see Baba's backup.
Well, there are many. I have, let me just see. You'll see the 5 terabytes each here. And then I have, oh yeah, more than that. Yeah. This one, I'm so sorry. This one, like I put in my pocket, is 10 terabytes. So you are saying that you pay to Microsoft 1 terabyte. This is 10. This one, this small one that I put in my pocket, 10 terabytes. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3 in just one location. Yeah. So carry on.
Thank you very much. So that is some methods that we can put in place. How to initiate incident management control. Yes, to initiate it is not the problem, but the first thing is, do we even have a plan? You must have a plan. When trouble happens, this is the first point of call. And like I said earlier, all of those who are in charge, your IT control members, those who are in one office or the other, they must be aware of this plan. Okay, if anything happens in your office, this is the first person to call. Call Director of ICT. Call Dr. Kiniko, so that everybody is aware. There should be an open plan for those that are involved. Then the place of the white.
Yeah, you can round up now, staff professor. You can round up now, so I can take another batch.
Okay, so I'll just take this one. Batch. The place of the white hackers in preventing the institution. Yes, as white hackers that we are becoming, we cannot just launch to institutions site and say we want to prevent. We also must be authorized by institution. It's important. We must have that authorization before we can even prevent our institutions. Otherwise, we stay on our local network for the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Oladejo. Sir, we'll be taking another batch of 5. Dr.
Yes, and that will be the last batch.
That
will be the last batch.
So I'll call. Okay, sir. Professor Shoyoye, Professor Ike Okonkwo, Professor Teslim Ashafa, and Dr. Oroke Ezekiel Clinton. So Dr. Evelyn Godwin Nwakwasi,
Yeah,
Have a minute, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Evelyn Mwakwasi from Gregory University, Uturu. I'm particularly grateful to the Facilitator General and all who have taught us today. And I had issue on this password thing. When we are taught to make sure our passwords are strong, I changed my password and I nearly lost following this training. One of the tests, I was not allowed to enter because my password was not matching again. And it affected my performance. So my question is, please, can you told us that we should go to passport managers? Can we be told the ABC of handing over the password to them? Because I was not happy that I didn't score as much as I wanted due to time lag. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you. God bless you, Mama.
Professor Shoyoye, sir.
Shoyoye.
Shoyoye. Thank you very much, sir. Facilitator General. My contribution is, please, sir.
Your
okay,
name,
I've
sir,
muted
and
you. No, we'll come back to him. I've muted him. He didn't tell us where it's from. Let's go on to the next person. We'll come back to you, sir.
Professor Ike Okonkwo.
Okay, thank you, Facilitator General. My name is Professor Ike Okonkwo Victor from Nnamdi Azikiwe University. I want to ask a question. When Dr. Ladiji was talking about containment, he mentioned the issue of eradication. So I want to know what exactly he means by eradication, because he talked about that this attack, we should be expecting it. And if we are talking about eradication, that means it will never happen again. So he may need to explain that further, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Professor Teslim Ashafa.
All right, good afternoon, Facilitator General and others. My name is Professor Teslim Ashafa from Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso. I just have a comment and a request, and this is directed to the Facilitator General.
Yes,
Number one, I want to thank you so much for all these activities. Most of the time when we discuss here in Lautech, I always ask, where is this Baba getting this much energy? And I said that we'll have to one day, maybe to have a special module, maybe 2 weeks module, where you're going to tell us how to manage time, how to be so energetic, even at your advanced age. I just need to appreciate that. So please, I just want a reaction on this, how we can also use so much energy and achieve so much time within the limited time that we have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Professor Roque Ezekiel Clinton.
All right. Good afternoon, Emeritus Professor and lecturer. I want to appreciate you for all your efforts. I am Dr. Oroke Ezekiel Clinton from Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti. Yeah, my wife has been attacked using phishing phishers, you know. And since then, she has tried to, I've tried to do 2-factor authentication for her. And I discovered that maybe the person has replaced her phone number with his own in the email. So she cannot even use her email. So and she cannot do 2-factor authentication in her WhatsApp. So I don't know how to resolve this. So I don't know, maybe the second presenter will help us, or anybody can help us to, give me a solution on how to do this.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll take Professor Shoyoye, and that will be it.
Thank you.
Professor Shoyoye, yes, okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Ayo Shoyoye from OAU, Ile-Ife. Thank you, sir. What I want to ask the Facilitator General for the good work that he has been doing.
Thank you.
He will send all the names of everyone who is taking this course, because even all of us, we are security risks. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So our host, we have just a couple of minutes. Maybe we'll just give a minute each to our speakers, and then we'll wrap up. So exactly 3 o'clock, we're all done. But maybe I take the floor. I'd like to thank Professor Shafa from Loud Tech. The answer is straightforward, just the grace of God. And so that's it, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Dr.
Okay.
Felicia.
Oh, she's not active. Let's go on to the next.
Okay. Dr. Oladejo.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma. And to one of the questioners who says, I mentioned something under containment. If you check the slide, which we should have, under containment, there are 4 steps there, and I'm not too sure whether eradication is one of them. You have isolate, switch to manual operation, disables cloud services if you have one, and then initiate the pre-planned network segmentation. Eradication is not one of the things to do under containment. If there's a miss up there, thank God I'm clearing it now. Thank you very much. And then on the issue of your email, the emails, then one of our fathers said that the wife's email is not functional. I think it's a thing that will go beyond this lesson, but you may need to maybe consult a few experts to see how you can help your wife out, particularly if you still want to continue to use that.
All right, Kule, time is not on our side. Thank now.
You,
yeah, Dr. Felicia is in the room. 1 minute also, because we have just 2 more minutes or so.
Thank you very much, Prof. So maybe just to touch on the password manager, since it came up, not to sell any particular one, but I know there's Google Password Manager, for instance. That's very basic one that we can all use. But that also requires you to even put a password on it, because nobody should be able to access it other than you. But once you're able to have that, one password which allows you to access it, you can track a series of your passwords across various, platforms.
Thank you so very much, Professor Nkrumah. I would like to thank all our speakers, thank our host for a very wonderful session, live lectures number 8. We have a minute by way of an announcement, which is that I have so thoroughly enjoyed these 2 lectures that, well, as you know, I will send out the PowerPoint files. Professor Nkrumah, Felicia Nkrumah of AAU, was to be on mission to Gabon, and she had to shift it a little bit to be able to attend. So on behalf of all of us, we thank you, Professor Felicia Nkrumah, and wish you a very safe trip. But send me the PowerPoint file immediately. Assistant Professor Kunle, send me yours too, so I can send to all the participants. And I'm going to ask you too to do a special video for each of your presentations, video that I'm going to send to the participants. So it's exactly a minute to 3 o'clock. Wishing you the very best for the week, and